Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Women Have Needs Too. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to allow learning to become part of my family's everyday routine. Today, we're with Christine Furman. She is the founder of Momspiration and the CEO of Momspiration and the founder of EduPlay. We are so happy to be with you today because we are going to be talking about how to have fun and make education fun and learning fun in your home for your kids, right, Christine?
Yes, I'm so excited to dive in. This is my favorite thing to talk about.
Yay. Now, Christine, you were in the in public education for 10 years
Hmm.
and you connect parents with education all over the world, right?
Yes, I do.
That is so exciting. So, what age group do you specialize in? What age group will we talk about today?
Right now, what we're going to talk about is that 0 to 7 age range. The curriculum that I create, the EduPlay learning curriculum, it's definitely geared to work with your family and your kids around 2 to 5, where, we're learning about letters and numbers and learning through songs and activities. But the best part about that is kids that are 0 to 2, they're learning too. Even if we don't think that they are communicating with us, they are soaking it all in. So
Oh,
that's my
they
favorite
are.
thing. Hmm.
They know what they're doing even when they can't speak yet. I
Yes,
remember
absolutely.
I was nursing my son and he bit me and it hurt. And I looked
Yeah.
at him and he looked at me and he laughed.
Hmm.
And I hit him on the lips and I said, no. Well, he never did it again.
Yep. Yep. I totally believe it. I
Yeah.
remember my daughter at 6 months old, sitting in the high chair as I was making dinner, and we always had toddler tunes. I don't have the TV playing, but I always have some, inspirational music playing.
Love it.
And we had some toddler tunes going, and all of a sudden I look over and she is doing the motions for If You're Happy and You Know It when the song came on.
And how old
At
was she?
6 months old.
Two
6 months
months?
old.
6 months.
6 months.
You are kidding me.
No, no. So
Oh my
right
goodness,
then and
that gives
there,
me goosebumps.
yes, right then and there. And even with my education, when I taught in the life skills classroom, we were taught that even if they can't communicate either verbally or, they're not able to do things, they still are listening. We're talking to everyone as a person, regardless of if they can speak to you or communicate to you. And then when I saw it firsthand with my daughter at such a young age, and I said, oh my gosh, like it is so true. Like people are just soaking up the information even when you don't realize it.
Yeah, the light bulb goes off, right? When you see
Yes.
something like that and you're like, wow, I had no idea.
Yep.
So, I mean, how does EduPlay differ from other, play systems that might be out there?
Yes, I love this question because a lot of times, with the library meetups, maybe, which those are great. They're great to get to, you're supporting the local libraries. But I was seeing that like I wasn't getting the connection that I felt like I needed. It was EduPlay and Momspiration bring the connection for the moms. So then that way, whenever we get together, the moms are actually able to talk and communicate. And I am connecting this mom with, a mom that she didn't even realize was in her own neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah. And then EduPlay, as I started having these mom meetups,
Mhm.
I was teaching the kids because I was like, well, I don't want people just to come and the kids are running around crazy. That's stressful for the moms. Then you're not relaxing at all.
Right.
So I took the curriculum building that I use when I taught in the classroom and I developed this curriculum that is all inclusive of music, of art, of movement, of math, of
Mm.
reading, um, anything sensory, independent play. We put it all together. So then
Wow.
that way the kids are learning in all different ways.
I love it. Give me a good example of a part of your curriculum where it takes them from, you know, knowing zero something about it to learning through the process.
Yes, yes, I love this. So, and I'm going to use an example that's relevant for right now. We're getting into fall, and it is about apples, you know. So, not only can we talk about the different colors, you can talk about red, yellow, and green.
Mhm.
You could sort them. I made this cute little tree that the kids can toss the apples onto the tree. So you can talk about the colors, you can count.
Love it.
Then what you do is you do the song. There's like the 10 little apples in the tree. You read a book about it. We do movement. So then they're picking the apples. We go to the kitchen and we make applesauce or apple pies. We
So it's
wrap everything up.
experiential.
Yes,
I
yes.
love it. And I want
Yeah,
some of that apple pie.
I know. My favorite part is the kitchen part.
That is so intriguing. So how do you connect with the parents that need this type of curriculum for their children?
So I connect right now a lot virtually. Whenever pre-pandemic, we were meeting in person. And then everything happened, and families from all over the world joined the Momspiration group that I have on Facebook.
Wow.
And they were just looking for that connection,
Yes.
because when everything shut down, schools were scrambling to get school age kids things. But
Mhm.
my daughter was in preschool and that just stopped,
Right.
so there was no preschool.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's so crucial. Like those years are so essential. And I started going live in my group, and I did calendar with the families, and we read a story, and we did stretches and a song every day for 3 months. We did that. And we built this virtual community for families to know that like we're not in this alone. We're going through this together. And I'm here for you to support you and your family.
That's great. So how do we can we give an example how because every day in our everyday lives, I mean, you have two children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are many moms out there that have two or three children at home, or it may have three children, but maybe they're not all three at home at the same time, because you might have a
Mm-hmm.
7-year-old that's in school and then a 5 and a 3, or just an example.
Right.
So give an example of how they can create teaching and teachable moments at home.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And this is something that I am loving sharing this with the community and the families out there now, because everything that we do, like I said, they're always watching. So
Mhm.
the things that we do, as long as we are explaining them to our kids, it turns into a teaching moment. And I'll give you an example that happened today. I had a little kitchen fire,
Oh
and
no.
yes, we're making breakfast. My kids are like, let's have sausage and eggs, so doing all the things. And I turn around and my silicone lid got too close to the flame and catches on fire. So of course you're like, like you start to freak out.
Yeah.
My kids are standing there like, here's another teachable moment. My kids empty the dishwasher completely independently every day.
And they're how old?
Yeah. They're 6 and 4.
So that's a perfect example that kids are capable of
Doing things.
participating in household chores.
Absolutely. They've been doing it. My son has been doing it. They've probably been doing it at least for 2 years.
And you know what you're doing, Christine, is you're creating an independent individual that will
Yes.
grow up knowing what independence is like. So when they go away, and as they go in the teenage years, they're learning how to discern between right and they're learning, but they already know the difference between right and wrong now. But
Mm-hmm.
what happens with an independent child turning 16 and 17 and getting those outside influences is because they've become an independent thinker. Now they are going to make the right choice instead of they're going to be the leader, not the follower.
Yes, absolutely. And our campaign this summer was actually Kick It with Christine. So we're raising kind, independent, confident kids.
I love it.
Yes. Yes. So, and I love that.
We're going to say that again. Kind, independent,
confident kids.
Kind, independent, confident kids.
Kids.
Kick
it.
Kick
yeah,
it.
Kick
it. I love it.
Yeah. And that's what I started realizing that with my own kids. We go through the daily routine. I set up checklists for them from a very young age. Even if they can't read, you could use pictures, or you can make the list and just go through it one thing at a time with them and say, okay, now we're going to get dressed and we're going to put our clothes in the dirty clothes, and not only is that building their independence, it's helping the routine for the day. They're able to follow multi-step directions. It just continues to lead into so many important things in their life.
It's so true. And I don't think as parents, we give our children enough credit for what they're capable of. I remember when my son was 2 and I said, okay, we would fold the clothes and I would say, okay, this is your stack. Go put this in your second drawer.
Yep.
And he would go. And I remember somebody being at the house one time and saying, how does he know what the second drawer is? Well, because I showed him where the second drawer was.
Exactly. And it's all these teaching moments,
Yes.
And it goes back to here we are in the kitchen today. I'm not trying to freak out, but then I turn it into a
let's get back to the fire.
Yeah, get back to the fire, right? I turn it into a teaching moment by saying, okay, this is what happens. We got some water, we put out the fire, and then I explained to them we had to remain calm. We had to put out the fire. Then, if we need to, here's a fire extinguisher. Here's what we can do. And then they chime in and they're like, well, good thing we didn't have to call the fire department.
I love that. That is adorable. And then they can learn how to prevent it from happening again, because we don't put anything that can catch on fire near the stove. Exactly. I learned this the hard way myself, and I didn't have a fire, but I had a lid melt, and I'm like, never again. I don't put, even if the stove is off, I don't put plastic on the stove or a towel, a dish towel or anything. If it can catch on fire or melt, I don't put it anywhere near my stove, even if it's off, because what if somebody else comes up and says,
exactly. The biggest thing that my husband and I go through, when you get pizza boxes, he's always wanted to put it on the stove. And I always move them off of the stove, because I said, if in 1 second someone comes by and bumps a burner,
right,
we have flaming pizza,
Flaming pizza. Now there's a new dish. I like it.
But yes, everything that we do with our kids, there's so many great moments that we can, instill in them to allow them to just show what they know with no limits. That's a huge part of what I do with EduPlay. Like, it may be the same concept for all the kids. And that's why I say all abilities and all ages, because I can take one concept and I can make it so a 0 to 2-year-old can participate, a 2 to 5-year-old can participate, 5 to 7 and beyond even. We could take a topic on fractions for a 10-year-old that's learning it in school and just start introducing what it means for younger kids. So then that way, when they get to that in school, they already have an idea of what it means.
I love it. I love it. It's so funny. I had a really good friend, a male friend, whose girlfriend couldn't do fractions. And she was an adult, probably in her 30s or so, probably. And I'm like, well, I'm not very good at math either. He's like, well, do you know which is higher, 25% or 1/8? And I said, well, yeah, 25% is higher than 1/8. He goes, okay, well, your fractions then. But some people can't comprehend that. And I'm not a left brain person.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to always say I'm not good at math, but I guess I'm better at math than I thought I was,
Right.
but, getting back to teachable moments, and relatable with that 10-year-old and the 2-year-old
Yes.
on the same plane, on the same educational lesson is that, yeah, the 10-year-old is doing a math problem, but now
Mm-hmm.
the 2-year-old can take his, 4 pieces of carrots and
Yeah.
say this one carrot is 25% or 1/4 of
Right.
the amount of carrots that you have.
Exactly. Exactly. And we've done this with pizzas and pies and so you're making it relatable to them. And just like you said with the carrots, anything that they can touch and it's
Mhm.
tangible for them, they're able to do it.
Right. I want to come learn at your house
I
because,
had a family, it's so much fun.
well,
We
when there's
have
pizza
our
and
moments.
pies available,
Right?
I'm signing up.
It is a lot of fun here, but and like the moms, I remember in last season, last session for the school year, because I kind of run it like a school year, but we do like fall, winter, spring, and then even summer,
Oh, cool.
But they said, oh, we're gonna do time. Like, I don't know if my kids can do time. And these are like 2 to 4 year olds, and
Wow.
they're like, we thought like that would be pretty challenging. And they all got it. Like they understood it so well because I explained it in a way that was very simple to them,
Right.
and we're moving and we're, using different things in the house
Hmm.
that you're like, oh, okay, I can teach them this way. And the parents, they were loving it
I
because they
love
were like, I would never expect my 3-year-old can do time.
because we don't give them enough credit,
Yep.
and we expect, I shouldn't say we expect, but we do. A lot of us do expect the school to teach them everything.
Yes.
And how much further ahead, and I'm not talking about creating overachievers,
Hmm.
um, but
Just independent learners and
independent learners,
lifelong learners.
how much further will they be ahead when they have that learning process down?
Yep.
They've learned how to deduce and
Hmm.
to methodically go through a problem. And I can't even
Yep.
I haven't seen your curriculum, but it sounds like it. I mean, you explained to me something about a summer project, a summer vacation. Do you remember that? You
Mm.
went to somebody's house and you were at a lake, and it was a teachable moment where you can talk about the leaves and you can't, talk about how many fish you caught and that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
I don't remember exactly, but I mean, yeah, when we're outside, you just can use all of the things around you. And
Mhm,
maybe this may be in it. Like, sometimes when you're waiting and you're doing something,
mhm.
the kids sometimes can get very bored, like,
Yes,
oh, we have to wait so long.
yes,
Well, guess what? Let's count the leaves or let's see how many fish you can find or
right.
how many acorns can you run around and let's count them or
Mhm.
just taking these moments in our life and just turning them into an experience for them you
And
know
then you have to refocus that energy because right now their energy is, I can't wait to get out of here. And
yeah.
they're whining. All right,
Yep.
let's focus it and let's count the acorns. I remember when I was growing up, we always took a summer vacation and I grew up in Tampa, and we would go up to Ohio just about every summer. If we didn't go in the summer, we would go in the wintertime. And we always played games. I mean, because it was a 21, 22-hour road trip, and my dad did not believe in stopping. We, we went all the way through. And so, you can only sleep so much.
Right.
You can only, nudge your brother or sister, so much. And,
Yep.
parents get tired of the whining. It's a long
Mm-hmm.
trip. So what do you do?
Yep.
You create the billboard game. All right, we're
Yep.
going to do the alphabet game. And you could do this on mini mini trips when it's a 20-minute trip and you're
To the grocery store.
right.
We've done that before. And because sometimes, here's something else too. Sometimes like they're just going back and forth,
Mhm.
never in like a bad way, but like in a way where I'm just like, I just need either quiet or I need like an intentional conversation right now,
Yes,
And we refocus that energy. And I say, oh, you know what? Let's play this game.
I love
So
it.
we played the letter game from where we were at, from our house to the grocery store. And even in the grocery store, because we were like, oh, well, we can't find the letter Q. So even in the
Oh, it's so
grocery
hard.
store, I know they're looking for the letter Q even then. So now they're paying attention in the store. They're not running around. They're not crazy. Another thing is giving them 5 items. Here are your 5 items that you need to find for me in the grocery store.
I love it.
You know?
And that's your 4-year-old and 6-year-old.
Yep. Yep.
Isn't that great? Every once in a while, my dad would bend the rules if we couldn't find the cue. And he would say, okay, let's see if we can find something on the side of the road that we, pass by that begins with the letter Q. Instead of finding it on a billboard, see if you can, and then you become creative,
Yep.
A quick
Yep.
fox or a quick
Yeah.
bird.
Oh, I love it.
Then it becomes creative. You're working their creative mind as well. And we
Mhm.
also played another good game. My dad, retired phys ed teacher,
I was gonna say
he
he's an educator. He totally gets it.
he had so many games. And 21 questions. Have you ever played that with your kids?
Oh, I have not with them.
Oh, okay. So 21 questions is such a great game because one person is the questionnaire and they are thinking of something. And you're allowed to ask questions that have the answer yes or no. So
Ah.
you ask a question, and a lot of times in our family, is it bigger than a bread box? Well, now your child's gonna say, well, what's a bread box? Because I don't know if you use a bread
Right.
box, but we don't.
Right. We
My
know.
bread box is the microwave because I don't use microwaves. So, you can ask questions like, is it bigger than a car? Is it blue? Or
Oh, I love
is it
this.
is it an is it a person, place, or thing? Is it an inanimate object or an animate object? And so
Mm-hmm.
then you start, condensing about, what the possibilities are. If it's a
Yep.
person, place, or thing, okay, so if it's, is it a person? No. So that means it's a place or a thing. You get the idea.
Yes, for sure. And that's very similar. We used to do like, all right, I'm thinking of a fruit, and the fruit is blue. And then they'd be like, blueberries. So then we each take a turn of like whatever fruit we're thinking of in the car. And
Love
then
it.
they would give clues. So and that's sometimes the thing. Like you have a few minutes in a car
Mhm.
instead of, putting a screen in front of them or turning on a show or, you know, they are then able to use their creativity.
Yes.
I'm able then to say, hey, spell your name for me. Hey, how old are you? What's
Right.
our address? Making these questions that are very simple, basic kind of questions and asking them at a time when you have a few minutes,
Yes. I love
making
it.
everything a learning minute, a learning moment.
Yes, a teachable moment. I love it.
Yes.
So let's talk about EduPlay and the perfect, let's just say the perfect scenario. Who would want to become a customer of EduPlay?
Yes, thank you so much for this. So the the moms out there that are really looking to create lifelong learners.
Mhm.
Your kids are creative, they're excited to learn, they're excited to kind of like explore. But you may not want to be wasting time searching for things online. You may not want to be using up your valuable time with your kids to be finding these things, to run to the craft store, to print out papers. So
Yeah.
the EduPlay activity kit allows all of that stuff to be done.
Wow.
All the activities are thought up already in there. All the materials are included. All the activity sheets are included. And
Wow.
all you have to do is join the group, open up the box, and then you're able to just join us live or pre-recorded videos, and you're able to jump in and really dive into letters, numbers, movement, life skills, tying a shoe, going to the bathroom independently, social skills. How are you going to talk to someone? What about when you're at the store and someone says something to you? What are you going to say? Emotions, just we throw it. I don't want to say throw it, but we include it all into this package because, we really do want to build lifelong learners that are going to be kind, independent, and confident. That's the essence of it all.
Christine, I had no idea the expansion of the learning that and teachable moments that you're offering. It's expansive. The whole thing about go into the store and somebody asks you a question, how do you respond to them? Those are skills that are so important, and a lot of children are not being taught that. And
right.
Where it may be common sense for one person, it's not necessarily common sense for another parent. So
right.
Thank you for putting EduPlay together. How do people find EduPlay? Is it just eduplay.com?
It's called eduplaylearning.com.
Eduplaylearning.com.
Yep. And then Momspiration or EduPlay on all platforms, and then they can find me.
It's such a beautiful platform. Thank you so much for putting your expertise in action. And I want to ask you really quick, what made you, because you were in the public school system, what made you decide to do this?
So I had my son at the time. So my daughter was 2. I just had my son. He was about 1. And I was like, all right, it's time for me to combine my passions. I want to be an educator, but I want to be home with my kids, and it's just combining that momspiration part of it, where I was meeting families and they were saying, we just feel so alone. And I said, gosh, I never want anyone to feel alone. Like, this journey is rough, we have our ups, we have our downs, but like finding that community where it's non-judgmental. It's come as you are, and we're just going to be here to support you and uplift you, love you, and then educate your kids.
Well, you've done a beautiful thing, and I wish you great success with EduPlay. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking again. So
yes, thank you so much, Linda.
Oh, no. And thank you, you viewers, for joining us today. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to make sure that I make every moment a teachable moment with my family. And have a great day. Stay inspired and stay empowered.